Hi, I'm Pauline,
And I'm Flo.
and we're from a new and small charity called Smell the Roses. And Smell the Roses does retreat days for mums and female carers who have children with additional needs. And my role is as the chair and the founder. So the whole thing was my idea about 3 years ago, and we were able to set up the days and start them in January 2019. And Flo.
And I am a senior volunteer. I have the role title of Wellbeing Coordinator. I also work for the charity as a massage therapist as well.
Brilliant. So Smell the Roses is we deliver retreat days, and it's retreat with a capital T because it's about re-treating the mums. So the mums would come in the morning around 9 o'clock, between 9 and 10, and breakfast is set up for breakfast. And that's kind of an informal time of chat to get to know each other on the day. And then from 10 to 12, we have some rooms that are set up. We have a quiet room, which I'm quite strict about because that's where the mums will go to read, sleep, listen to music, or colour in, or mindfulness colouring in books. And that room is very well used. We also have a creative craft room. So in there we have had a chocolatier do some chocolate making before. We do some art in there. We've done flower arranging, crocheting, all sorts of different craft and creativity. And then we have a pamper room, and that's for things like massage, facial, manicures, facials. We've had henna tattoo. We've had a hairdresser as well, came and just played with the mum's hair. And then we have peer support room, and that's where people can go to chat to each other, and we've always got someone in there as well to talk to the mums. And then we have a Flow Snug, and that came out of the mum's idea, Flo.
Yeah, so we initially, over a year ago, when we started doing the retreat days, I was one of the kind of the first therapists to be at the first session. So initially the room that I was in was actually just a massage room, but it's kind of just over time seems to have developed, and we've, like so many things with Smell the Roses as a charity, has just been reactionary to what the mums have needed and what the mums have wanted. So yeah, it went from being a massage space to actually kind of more of a pamper space, and then from there kind of the mums were saying they really liked kind of the fact that it was kind of a warm room and a quiet room, so we just kind of built it from there. And so now it's kind of this, you know, kind of small, very, very cozy, you know, quite warm room that you come into. There are lots of nice relaxing smells, there's loads of cushions and blankets all over the floor, and it's basically just kind of mimicking what I would hope would be, you know, a relaxing bedroom for the mums to just kind of come in and sit and just and be quiet if they want to, but I'm there in that room the entire time. So if the mums want to talk quietly, if they want any advice about their bodies, then I'm there to talk, and just to generally kind of encourage them and enthuse and just help them feel kind of cared for. But then I do provide kind of unique massages for each of the mums, dependent on their needs, as I'm a trained sports massage therapist and trained hot stones and cold stones therapist. So I can provide either one depending on the needs. So I'm kind of in there as both a therapist, but also in a way just kind of a listening ear. And it's kind of, it's a really wonderful space, and the mums have called it a kind of a womb. It's a very warm room that's really relaxing. But we decided to separate that from, as you said, Pauline, the kind of pamper room, which is something slightly separate and, like you say, more kind of facials and nails and stuff, whereas my room is more of a safe space for the mums to just come. And we've had quite a few people just come in and just bawl their eyes out and just get the stress off their shoulders and have a nice massage. So,
And honestly, every time I walk into that room, the love is palpable. It's amazing. And the mums are generally just lying on the floor on bean bags with blankets around them and eating lots of chocolate. And yeah, and I think you have some really quite amazing conversations in there with them in that room. Yeah, they've kind of called it a womb room, but it's definitely your snug. It's amazing. And then we also do lunch. So lunch is provided between 12 and 1. And then from 1 to 2, the same rooms are set up as in the morning. So whatever someone missed in the morning, they've got the opportunity to go to in the afternoon. And then from 2 to half 2, Flo, you do a wake up shake up.
Yes, so the wake up shake up is just because, you know, naturally when you have a room that's the womb room, it's really warm and cozy and a bit like getting out of your bed in the morning. You don't really want to get out. It's kind of, you're a bit grumpy, you know, so the mums have kind of said, you know, that they feel quite sleepy by the end of the day. They've kind of got to that place of deep relaxation, which is exactly what we want in the retreat days, for the mums to truly switch off. But yeah, just to help them kind of come back round to real life, we just do this small session, 15 minutes, sometimes half an hour, and we just kind of reawaken the senses and bring them back round to help them feel refreshed. We do a bit of breathing, just help them feel like they're kind of ready to face the rest of their day and kind of be there for their families and not feel like they've kind of, you know, had a really long nap that's actually impaired their capacity for the rest of the day. So yeah, it's just something to kind of help them get back to their days.
And so Flo, specifically, what do you do as the wellbeing coordinator for Smell the Roses?
So on the retreat days themselves, I am available the day before to set up the venue. So I take all of the boxes in, ensure everything goes in the right place, because having been there since the start, I'm a senior volunteer, which means that I know kind of where things need to be. So I kind of help head that up, which is great. And then I'm basically there just to ensure, as the coordinator, but well-being being the important part of my title, is that I'm just ensuring that the space itself is inviting for the mums, that it's kind of a home away from home, somewhere that doesn't feel something clinical or kind of alien to them. It's something that should be welcoming and inviting into the space so that they feel like they can switch off and let their guard down and be themselves. So that's what I do the day before, and I'm then there first thing in the morning as well to ensure that everything's set up, kind of oversee everything gets set up for breakfast as well, so that everything's just ready for the mums for the day. And then I'm in the snug for the entire day aside from our lunch, so I'm available for any of the volunteers to ask questions if they're concerned about timetabling and how we move forward, and then I'm there to pack down and make sure everything's in ship shape before we leave. So yeah, so it's a general overseeing of the day, but with a specific interest and emphasis on ensuring that the space is just a safe space, a relaxing space, and an inviting space for all of the mums.
And I have also, at the end of one of the days, had an amazing hot stone massage for you when my back was really painful. And so I can absolutely say how amazing your massages are, because it felt amazing afterwards. So that's kind of how we were before COVID-19. So we had to adapt, because obviously we can't do the retreat days anymore, and that's really sad for us because we really miss them. So we have set up a private Facebook group for those who have attended a retreat day, and that's workshop leaders, volunteers, the mums as well. And so we decided to do twice weekly virtual join-ins. So on a Tuesday morning, Flo will do a chat, and then on a Thursday evening, we will have one of the workshop leaders will lead us as a virtual live join-in. So we've had wax melting, we've had origami, we've done baking, we've had all sorts, and they've been great. But Flo, would you like to tell us a bit about what you do on a Tuesday morning and what you talk about?
Yeah, so we're basically combining all of the things that I would be doing on the retreat days. So I've done sessions on self-massage and how to just relieve some of that tension at home, just using everyday objects that are kind of safe for your body to use. I've done lots of breathing exercises, again, just to kind of reflect some of the stuff that we would normally do on the retreat days, just to help the mums in an environment where they don't really have any contact with anyone else, just to kind of relieve some of that pressure and stress. I've also done some sessions in the garden, so looking at kind of mental health as a general topic, but then looking at that kind of how do we in lockdown kind of get involved with our mental health in a positive way, And gardening was the candidate. I think also just because of the time of year as well, there was lots that people could be doing. And I was very fortunate that the other job that I was engaged with was working for a farmer. So I was very lucky that as I was doing that, I was engaging with lots of cute little lambs. So we were very lucky to share with all the mums their little lives, their growth spurts and their little giddy moments. So yeah, it was a variety of things, but it was mainly just engaging with the mums in ways that they wanted. So I would ask on polls on the Facebook page what they were looking for, what they wanted. So it was very reactive. It changed over the seasons. And yeah, it's just mainly been a place for the mums to engage with their well-being on some level. I did some baking as well, just kind of talking about the importance of culture. So I did one on sourdough and talked about the importance of sourdough culture and how that kind of reflects on how we look after ourselves and how we look after the culture that is our own mental health. So lots and lots of interesting stuff, but just how do we go about our daily lives and make sure we're looking after ourselves, basically?
Absolutely. And we also did, we also did one morning. We did a mini morning Zoom, and that was so much fun. We did some dancing, didn't we, Flo? And, so we all turned our videos off, but we could certainly we could certainly hear the music and everybody singing along slightly out of time. And just the giggling that you could hear everybody joining in. It was so much fun. And you did a little talk as well, Flo. It was great. And it was just lovely to kind of connect in like that as well. So that's kind of what we've been doing since lockdown. And we're kind of adapting again now that we're not so reactive. So coming up, we're not doing any of those weekly joinings anymore on the private Facebook page. So Flo is going to be doing her chats, but creating them as YouTube videos twice a month. And then on the alternate week, the people who shop are doing videos for us as well. And so they'll be on the YouTube channel. And then also on top of that, every month we're going to do an interview with either a local national charity organisation, just to kind of talk to them about what they do, who they are, and what they can offer, and how the pandemic has been for them. But yes, just so that mums and carers are aware of what's out there as well, what services there are. So we're hoping to start that next month. And yeah, so we're quite excited about that. So so we applied to the COVID fund for some funding to be able to pay the workshop leaders. And I felt it was really important that we were somehow able to keep providing what we would normally do every month on a retreat day. I felt it was really important to keep somehow to continue to do that virtually. And so we applied for the COVID fund and got it, which was really fantastic. And so that enabled us to continue to pay the workshop leaders. And Flo, as one of those workshop leaders that we've been able to pay, what's that impact been for you?
So as a trained dancer and massage therapist, all of the work that I do normally as a freelance massage therapist and freelance kind of dancer and dance teacher, all of my kind of relaxation sessions and dance lessons and mobile massage and my massage clinic in Alnwick as well, all of that just within a week in March just completely and totally halted. I also sometimes work in events as well, and so every aspect of my income just completely halted over the space of a week. And so I was looking at trying to find ways to pay my rent and bills, and there was basically nothing available. So Smell the Roses was basically the first place in which I was offered any work, and that was an amazing opportunity, which I'm so grateful for, because that meant that it was contributing to, you know, my capacity to kind of look after myself in what is considered a basic way. But because of my particular financial situation, I wasn't eligible for some of the self-employed funds that were available to self-employed individuals. So it meant that I wasn't getting any other support from the government for the work that I was doing. So Smile the Roses was doing that for me, which was just amazing. And I was very lucky, as I mentioned earlier. A farmer that was local to my area, because I live in Northumberland, was looking for some extra help over lambing season. So I was so fortunate again to have even that small slither of work as a key worker, basically working for a local farm and producing the next generation of sheep, which was brilliant. But yeah, the Smell the Roses income was a large part of what kept me going over lockdown. So I can genuinely say I was supported by this COVID scheme as a result of Smell the Roses choosing to pay me to do the sessions that I was doing. So yeah, pretty good.
And I'm just really glad that we were able to do that for not just you, but everyone that did a workshop for us. We were able to pay them every week. And we've also been able to continue to pay our administrator who does we've subcontracted her to do a few hours a week for us, do some admin. So we've been able to continue to pay her as well. So that's just been fantastic. So I just feel really blessed that we've been in a position to continue to pay people. And it's just, it's just so unfortunate we're in this situation and desperately miss the days. And I know the mums and the carers really miss the days. And no matter what we do, it's not going to replace them. So for me, you always stay at my house the night before a retreat day. I've not seen you for months, apart from like this. And I really miss your amazing, fantastic hugs. So one of these days, Flo, I will have one of your hugs again, and you'll be able to stay over again, and we'll be able to sit and chat with each other properly over a cup of tea and over some chocolate. And yeah, so thank you so much for your time today. And it's really lovely to see you, and hopefully one day soon we'll be doing retreat days again. But take care, Flo.